What up, people? It's your boy, Master Judy, out here with another Stargirl review. So we got Stargirl episode 7. I've got to say, I know last week I said that was my favorite episode. Correction. This is my favorite episode. This episode hit it off with everything. Writing was superb. Action was great. Pacing was excellent. And the Easter eggs were very nice. And the character development, as this show has gone on for 7 episodes in, past the halfway mark, has been phenomenally consistent and expanding on our characters. So let's get into it, of course, to let you know there will be spoilers in this review, obviously. So we get into the beginning of the episode. The whole crew is feeling excited that they're going to get trained by Pat, and everybody's excited and whatnot. Everybody's doing well. Everybody's getting ready for after school. But then, of course, we cut back to Henry King. He's with his dad, still in the hospital. And then we see Shiv, which is gosh, yeah, Shiv basically, which is the mean girl that's around. She basically is with Henry. He's like, "Hey, I'm here to support you, but we need to talk about me right now. How about we go to the dance?" And Henry's like, God, in his most bruh face, he's like, "Bruh, do you not see who is in the hospital bed right in front of me? I can't think about fun right now." And so, you know, that disappoints and kind of angers Shiv, who also known, give me a minute. Yeah, Cindy, sorry. That's her name. Cindy. I almost forgot. But we pretty much see that it's going to be a very bad day for Cindy, basically, because it just puts her in a funky mood for all that time. But we get further character development. They're all at school. Um, Side note, I'm gonna get into Barbara's story quickly. Barbara, Courtney's mom, she gets a chance to go with Icicle Senior to take the brand of their New American project. So she's been given somewhat more of a role. She's doing well in work. That's all well and good to know. Uh-huh. Anyway, anyway, back to school. The whole crew once again is excited, but then of course Cindy's in a foul mood again. First of all, she says that hey, Henry doesn't want to go to homecoming. And, she tries to pressure him, saying that, "Look, you're going to take me there." And he's like, "Hey, if you want to go so bad, have somebody else take you. I'm not going." And this is all when we find out that Henry's powers have now been manifesting. But at the point, he thought it was like a migraine headache because in the beginning, I almost thought he was abusing because he was taking pills and drinking it. But it was clear that he was suffering from some sort of migraine or what he thought. And that manifests later, and he realizes it, realistically, I might add, when he uses it to like cheat on a test. Which, hey, if you're starting to hear the answers to a test and you got telepathy and you're just hearing those answers all over and you still can't control it, then you got to make do with the lemonade given to you. And so after Cindy, and so backtracking, Cindy just gets angry. But that's also before then she met her, like, her groupie, who is no longer really her groupie. Because she's all like, "Hey, I got invited to the dance." It's like, "I got invited to the homecoming. I got a date to the homecoming dance. And I thought that, we could double date. My guy with your guy and all that." And Cindy, you know, and we're going to get to her because I feel like at first she's more than a mean girl. She's very complex. But she's like, yeah, so, well, too bad. I don't want to go, so I don't have to see with the two of you. And, her groupie or former groupie is like, "Why you got to be such a, you can guess what she says." And Cindy's like, "What?" And no, and her friend stands her ground. She's like, "Hey, I don't want to deal with this. I got to take a break from you because I can't take this verbal abuse. You have a good day, man." And Cindy's day gets even worse. But then we fast track to chemistry class where we get to open up a bit with Cindy. So, how it is. Everybody's got a group together, partner up for a science, for a little bit of lab. Everybody partners up. And of course, Courtney's there and Cindy's there. And, like, of course, they don't want to partner up. But Courtney takes the initiative and decides to say, "Hey, um, let's partner up." Cindy's like, "Nah, nah, I don't want to partner up." But basically, Courtney's like, "Well, I don't see anybody rushing to be your partner." She's like, "Yeah, this is happening," and so it's like, "Fine." Um, it's like, "Fine, we're gonna work together and do this." Basically, so they have chemistry, and it's very apparent that Cindy is a very adept chemist. She knows her chemicals, she knows her beakers, she knows the amounts that needs to be put, as they say, as Courtney mentions, like in the in the during the experiment, like you haven't looked at the instructions, and it's like, yeah, this is child's play, I know it. And so they start to have a little bit of fun. Cindy is the type of girl who likes um adulation and affirmation. And Courtney gives her proper respect and props for a job well done. You're like so smart. And she explains that, hey, my dad is a chemist and he used to leave his chemical cabinet open on purpose, and we used to do science projects and chemistry projects for fun, basically. And she finds out apparently from Beth earlier that Cindy was not always this mean. In elementary school, prior to the fourth grade, she was quite nice and kind and everything like that. But then her mother died, and we all know how that comes in. And Rick at that time says, "No, I don't care. No reason to be that mean." So back to the chemistry project, the teacher comes around and says, "Oh, Courtney, Cindy, A1 job. Fantastic." So Cindy starts to open up. She starts to become a little bit nice, and she talks to Courtney, saying, "Hey, are you doing anything for the dance?" And Courtney's like, "Nah, I wasn't planning on going." She was like, "Well, maybe we can hang out, like friends, do something." And Courtney's like, "Of course." And we're gonna get to that aspect of Courtney where she readily wants to be the people pleaser and do everything for people. So they decide to have a little, let's hang out this weekend. Cool. So we get to after school. Uh, the whole crew, the whole crew comes to Matt's pit stop garage, and Pat has like, "Hey, this is where we're gonna train, okay?" And he's like saying that we're gonna discuss two things that you need to move forward. We got to find out what you can do, and find out what the Injustice Society can do. And Rick is like, "Well, we already know what we can do." And he and and basically Pat is like, "Yeah, you do, yeah, but you guys don't know how to work together as a team. You don't know how to mesh that." It's like the original JSA. They all they all had experience and training and teamwork and knew the importance of a team, and even then that still wasn't enough to save their lives, basically. So I want to prevent that. I want to prevent that from happening to you. So we're going to train. And so we got a little bit of an obstacle training right there. Meanwhile, we go back to Cindy's house, and the house, fantastic house on the inside and outside, but on the inside in particular, there's no furniture, there's nothing, and everything like that. And we see that this Stepford wife looking person is here, obviously her stepmom, and she's like, "Hey, how was your day?" And Cindy's like, "Why do you want to know how my day is? Do you even care?" And she's like, "Of course I care." And Cindy's not having it. And Cindy's very abrasive to her stepmom. Like she's just going in on her. And when she decides to say, "Yeah, I think I'll just leave you alone," Cindy's like, "Oh no, no, no. How about you stay? How about you stay and then you know, entertain me?" And she's like, no, and said, I need an afternoon snack. How about some wine and cheese?" And the mother decides to have some backbone, saying, "Oh, I can't give you wine." And it's like, "Oh, really? You want me to call my pops here and so I can give you the business?" And she's like freaking out, saying, "Okay, yeah, I got a bottle of wine in my room." Like, yeah, she needs to drink consistently going through Cindy. But Cindy's like, "Put it in my room." And then she decides to go, interestingly, to the secret room in her house, indicating that she knows what her father does, actually, which I thought was very interesting. So, I'm going to try to summarize two things that do happen simultaneously. Um, for starters, we have one, Courtney and the team. Pat is trying to give a rundown of the Injustice Society of America, give them their backgrounds and their powers. But Courtney consistently, you know, goes about and destroys, and well, not destroys, but continuously undermines Pat as he's trying to give the team, some information, some intel. And, you know, he's like, Courtney, but I thought you were going to let me brief your people. And she's like, no, but we don't have time. We could be out there stopping the ISA. Every minute that we're not there, we're not there stopping them. And he's like saying, well, you guys are not ready. And I don't want you to go out there blind. And then Courtney, the staff, I don't know whether I don't really blame Courtney, but she still went with it. The staff just goes crazy and starts taking down all the practice dummies and the training exercises that Pat had set up for the rest of the team. And after she's done showing off, she's like, I think I'm ready. And Pat's like, that was for your team. And even the team is like, angry. Yolanda was like, I could have practiced on that. And Rick was like, yeah, now everything is ruined. What are we going to do? And Beth is like, yeah, I could have been training. And but we all know Beth needs that training because she is the least combative person of those four. And so, Pat's like, okay, we're going to have to wrap it up and do this tomorrow. On the on the almost simultaneous side, we see that basically Cindy comes down to the ISA headquarters and sees them discussing all the Injustice Society. Everybody's saying that we got to find out who Stargirl is and who the JSA are. And Isaac, they're saying that well, they probably know who. Sports is like, well, they probably know who we are. And Isaac was like, no, if they knew who we are, they would already be on us right now. And it's like, and Sportsmaster was like, came up with the idea they have to be kids. It's like they probably could be kids, except for maybe the robot guy, which would be Stripe. And Tigress is like, okay, then why don't we involve our kids in this? To which the fiddler's wife, the principal's like, no, we specifically agreed not to involve our kids in this. They're not my son. She's like talking about her son, far too delicate, much like the magician's son. But Tigress is like, oh, you coddle him, and that's your problem, not his. So she's like, we want everybody out there searching for them. But Icicle, calmer heads prevail, and they're like, okay, let's we'll find out eventually what they are. But Dr. Ito pretty much catches his daughter saying, what are you doing here? And she's like, I want a seat at the table. I want to be part of the ISA. I could be helping you. And he's like saying, no, you got to focus on your mission. And this is where we see why Henry is the way he is, because it's very clear that her mission was to get close to Henry because to see whether he would have telepathic powers, because because of course she maliciously tells her father, you should pull the plug on Brainwave. And he's like, first of all, I need Brainwave. And second of all, I need you to do your job to make sure that his son has telepathic powers. And we can see that's probably how he sabotaged her and Henry and Yolanda's relationship. All part of her mission, probably. Who knows what she did? And of course we see that she has been enhanced greatly. Like it's not just simple enhancements, but we'll get to that later. So she's basically saying that hey, you're I can we they it's like why don't we tell they said you're looking for Stargirl. I could help. Like the principal doesn't run the school, I run it, and those kids would do anything I ask. And he's like saying, look, just focus on your job and do and he basically said that you're becoming too reckless and I thought you would have learned from your mother's death. To which she says something interesting, saying I was young, all right, implying I don't know whether she had a hand in her mother's death, but that's neither here nor there. We'll find out eventually. Um, so start for starter. So after that, she finds a suit and she's like, she still maintains like, I want to basically have a seat at the table. In a way, it's her way of saying I want friends, basically. But Dr. Ito's like, you're going to focus on your mission. You're not going to dump Henry. You're going to find out if he has powers and do so. And she's like saying, well, you're never there. You're never around. And I'm lonely. I'm alone. And he's like, look, if you're so lonely, go ahead and buy yourself some clothes or have another party. I don't care what you do. So that's terrible fatherhood right there. And so she leaves, basically. And so after that, we pretty much get that Barbara's leaving on her business trip and decides to take the whole gang, and Pat decides to take the whole gang out to the homecoming football game. Know what I mean? So, you know, Courtney pretty much tells Pat that, hey, before all of that, you should send me on a private mission, to which I kind of appreciate. And this is why this is one of my favorite episodes, and I'll get to that in my pros. But Pat's like, no, you're going to leave, stop the investigating, leave the principal out of this, because she basically told Pat that she is possibly the new fiddler. But Pat's like, no. And so, side note, as Icicle's preparing to leave, Icicle Jr. comes in. He's like saying, hey, I have a girl I want to ask out. Fast forward, that girl is Courtney. So at the football game, Pat decides to get some kind of, some snackage, some concessions for the fam. And we get this weird tidbit. This is the one thing I found weird. Mike is all angry at Courtney for trying to apparently steal his dad from him, which could be further from the case of anything. And he's like, well, you don't see me trying to steal Barbara. Well, no, but I don't know where it comes from. But I can appreciate a little bit more depth in his character than the annoying little man brother. You know what I mean? But anyway, first of all, Icicle Junior basically comes. I'm calling him that, Cameron, and he decides to say, "Hey, Courtney, you wanna go to dance? Want to go to homecoming dance?" And once again, Courtney's better nature gets the better of her because she's like, "Nah, I want to go with you, but I got plans this weekend to hang out with Cindy." And he's like, "Oh," but then he sees like he's disappointed too, and he's like, "But I can see if we can reschedule, you know, because I want to go with you to the dance." And she should have experience to the way Cindy is basically. So she decides to play it, and she goes to Cindy. Now this is not really Courtney's fault because she's trying to straddle, trying to be the good guy, but she should have known better. She goes to the place where the cheerleaders are. Cindy's like, oh gosh, you guys are terrible, but she talks to Cindy like saying, and Cindy's almost like relieved to see her. She's very happy, very very happy to see Courtney. I mean, that's probably the most genuine happiness I've seen from her in the show. But Courtney's like, can we reschedule? Because I want to go to the dance, and Cameron just asked me out. And Courtney's like, Cindy tries to guilt Courtney, like, oh, the art freak. And Courtney, still maintains her strong. She's like, yeah, but I want to go. And Cindy's like, okay, nah, we're not doing this again. It's your loss. We're done here. Boom. Nah, nada. And as she's about to leave Courtney, she sees she sees the principal getting ready to leave, talking on her phone. And Cindy still senses her, and it's like Cindy's saying she wants to. She really wants to, like, say, look, maybe we can reschedule. You could be my only friend at this moment, but it's too late. And Courtney, no fault of her own, walks away to pursue the principal. So Courtney heads to the basically the school, follows the principal, and we see that basically the principal's going in. She heads to her locker. She gets out her super suit, and the mission begins. And she discovers that the principal actually went through a secret compartment in her office, so she decides to follow in her suit. Cindy, meanwhile, runs all the way back home, saying that she needs to look for her dad. And she tries to go back to the headquarters, but of course, Dr. Ito changed the lock code, and she's sad. She's crying, like, I need you. I have nobody. I'm all alone. But then, of course, Stargirl trips a wire, which leads to some surveillance in Dr. Ito's lair. And Cindy sees it, and she's like, "Oh, that's Stargirl." And she gets the idea: if I bring Stargirl, I can get a seat at the table. This could cure my loneliness. So she gets the suit, she suits up, and they get ready to wind down. Basically, we get to the best part of the show. Shiv, which is her name now, I'm gonna call it that, basically finds Stargirl, and she's like, "Yeah, we're about to throw down," and they throw down indeed. This fight was excellent. It was fantastic. But of course, we see that Courtney once again gets owned, and not as bad as Sportsmaster. Now, this one she gets owned primarily because Shiv, for all intents and purposes, is an enhanced metahuman, like an experiment. And Shiv goes to work on her, man. She just owns Stargirl. Like it was like terrible. And so, you know, basically, um, I don't know what Shiv did because of course she has blades coming out of her, like her wrists. I don't know whether she like stabs Stargirl in like the stomach or chest or whatever, but she like mortally wounds Courtney, and she's about to like take the finishing blow, and then the janitor comes in and saves her. And after that, everybody decides to dip, but the staff calls Pat, and Courtney is down for the count, and you know, that's the end of the episode. Pat is almost like crying over her body. She's not dead, we all know. So yeah, that's the end of the episode. So let me get into my pros, my neutrals, and my cons. Pro one, um, the action. That's the first thing, man. The action was spectacular. The fight between Courtney and Cindy was awesome. Great work. The fight was doing. The blows were landing. The choreography was fantastic. It was great. It was awesome, and everything like that. I really loved it. Um, second con, second con, sorry, second pro. Um, was showing Courtney's flaws, and it's not like bad flaws, as in everybody likes a person who likes to be friendly with everybody. But it's clear that Courtney thinks too much of her skills, overestimates her abilities, underestimates her opponents, and tries to please everybody. And now that leads to a lot of problems. And as a result, we've seen that she kind of blew off a potential friendship, and she got owned horrifically. And this wasn't even from the Injustice Society that she got owned that badly. It was from somebody who wants to be a member of the Injustice Society. And so obviously it's supposed to highlight that she would stand absolutely no chance against the original ISA members if she decided to go her way. So Courtney got humbled this episode at the very near cost of her life. We'll see how that plays out in the next episode. Um, my third pro will have to go to Cindy. Um, this this episode definitely fleshed out her character, and I really liked it. I think that was my most one of my top. It was definitely one of my favorite parts of the episode to just see her. Like there's a reason the way she is right now, and you want to agree with Rick. There's really no redeeming her, but there kind of is because she didn't want to. She just wanted to have friends. Maybe she would have been still evil. I don't know, but she has a neglectful father. Birth mother died. A stepmother who's clearly there just to babysit her. You know, and you kind of feel like you don't feel bad, but you're looking at her whole day like, dang man, she getting all these types of L's. Like, dang. Mm. Terrible. Um, fourth, obviously the costume. I want to say that Stargirl's suit is probably one of the best super suits I've ever seen. It's well designed. And then Shiv's suit was very, very awesome. Going back to Shiv quickly as part of the pro man, she got blades. She can regenerate. Like, I have to be looking at Dr. Ito thinking, like, why wouldn't you want her to have a seat on the table? Like, she could be like your heaviest hitter. Like, dang. Like seriously, she could be your heaviest hitter. But back to the costumes again. Like Shiv's costume, spectacular, very good, and everything like that. The fifth pro was really just a character development in general. Pat was fleshed out very well, still showing that how he wants things done, that he has the experience. And so far in these 7 episodes, it's clearly showing that experience wins out all the time. And then, we kind of get, the rest of the team also really happy to like be together. Like the chemistry was there. Courtney kind of shook up the foundation of that chemistry when she was showing off, but it's still very much there. So that's good. Um, yeah. So let me get to my neutrals. My one neutral, I'd have to say. Oh well, let me get back to the last pro character development as well. We get the Icicle Senior and Junior, always good. Always good character development for them. Everybody was fleshed out. So that brings me to my neutrals, of course, and my neutral once again is Mike. And now I want to say that Mike has been very not yet enjoyable, but bearable when he's with Barbara. It's clear, very clear, that he's very, very, very. He was a much better character when he's with Barbara. They have good chemistry, and it was good to see him mellow out until we saw what happened in the football game where he's like saying, "Courtney, why are you trying to steal my dad?" Like, whoa, 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 hold, pump your brakes, good sir. Like, she isn't trying to steal your dad. But at the same time, it's understandable. He's like, what, 12, 13, and you've been with your pops for the longest. I'm thinking that his mother may have died. I want to say maybe I'm going to guesstimate and say maybe she died when he was 7. So it was both you and your pops kind of growing up maybe for 5, 6 years, going through the motions. It was just you and him. We all we got. And you feel a kind of attachment to that, with your dad. I mean, I didn't lose my mother, but there was a time it was just me and my dad living together with my sister. And I kind of connect with him because of that. So I can understand that. That's one of my neutrals there. I have no cons for this episode. This episode was spectacular, you know. But I'm going to add something new to this. Easter eggs. Now, we finally got who the janitor was. The reason why he talks in Old English all the time. And we saw his sword and we saw his horse, which was a unicorn. This is clearly Shining Knight. And I'm actually very happy because the last time we ever saw Shining Knight in any type of medium was in the Justice League Unlimited show, which was like 15 years ago. Incredible. So I'm very excited to see Shining Knight, and I really liked him, and it's clear that he knows who Pat is because he said Stripesy. Not sure if he's an original member, if he was ever part of the JSA, but there we have it. So this episode gets a 10 out of 10 for me. Um, this was a perfect episode. This was the best episode. It was fantastic. And I highly recommend that if you are not watching this show now, you should. So, thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notifications to make sure you're notified. Once again, I do these reviews for you, the people, because I want to discuss good shows like this and get your views on them. Comment below to give me your thoughts. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to have more videos up tomorrow. Peace.